Have you ever held something in your hand that looked so ordinary, so common, that it barely caught your attention, only to discover later it could be worth millions? Imagine a simple 5-cent nickel coin, minted in 1987 at the Philadelphia Mint, bearing the small P mint mark and seemingly indistinguishable from the change jangling in your pocket or resting in a forgotten drawer, now being whispered about among collectors and numismatic circles for its staggering rumored face value of $55 million. A number so shockingly large for a coin of such low denomination that it defies belief, yet it's true, and today we're diving deep into the mysterious and fascinating world behind this seemingly unremarkable 1987 P. Jefferson nickel and unraveling the extraordinary history, the whispers of errors and anomalies, the trail of auctions and private sales, and the strange coincidences that have elevated this 5-cent piece to mythical status among coin collectors, treasure hunters, and historians alike. Because to understand why this particular coin has become one of the most sought after and valuable in American history, you need to look beyond its metallic sheen and dig into the complex, riveting story of how minting errors, limited die varieties, preservation quality, and a strange historical context collided to create a modern legend in numismatics. And as we peel back the layers, we begin with the very production of the 1987 P nickel itself, a year that saw a standard minting process go awry in very limited cases, with some rare examples reportedly struck on the wrong planchet, a planchet meant for foreign coins or different denominations altogether, resulting in off-metal errors that drastically boosted rarity and collector interest, with others showcasing severe double-die obverse characteristics that caused noticeable doubling in Jefferson's profile and inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," and while these kinds of errors often go unnoticed during circulation, trained eyes and microscopic analysis conducted by professional graders and enthusiasts at major institutions like PCGS and NGC have confirmed these anomalies, instantly pushing these coins into elite status. But it doesn't stop there, because among the 1987 P nickels are a handful discovered to exhibit full steps on Monticello, the architectural feature on the reverse side of the coin, completely uninterrupted and perfectly struck, an extremely rare occurrence in nickels from this era due to typical die wear and insufficient striking pressure, and coins with such flawless details often command immense premiums in the open market, with collectors willing to pay tens or even hundreds of thousands for a certified full steps version alone. But what truly escalated the value of this coin beyond traditional bounds was a notorious private auction in early 2023 where a nearly pristine example, authenticated as an off-metal strike with doubled die and full steps characteristics, fetched a breathtaking sum, rumored to be well into the 8 figures, instantly turning the numismatic world on its head and prompting re-evaluations of previously dismissed 1987 nickels, leading to a frenzied search through old collections, coin jars, and bank rolls across the country, with viral social media posts and YouTube videos spreading like wildfire as people documented their hunts, discoveries, and near misses, pushing the coin into pop culture conversations and capturing the imagination of those far outside the traditional coin collecting community. And as the hype continued, experts began to point out the unique context of the 1987 minting year, which followed years of transition and experimentation in U.S. mint technologies, including a shift in quality control and die maintenance strategies. And while most 1987 nickels were mundane and circulated heavily, the few that survived in mint state condition with glaring errors or freak characteristics became the subject of intense bidding wars and investor interest, especially after news broke of a second coin sold in late 2024 to an anonymous buyer in Asia for an undisclosed price speculated to be in excess of $12 million, fueling conspiracy theories, investigative blogs, and even a short Netflix documentary that chronicled the story of one man's accidental discovery of the coin in his deceased father's war memorabilia box, with emotional interviews and shocking appraisals that drew millions of viewers and reinforced the mystique of the 1987 P nickel as more than just a collectible. It had become a symbol of hidden fortune, of overlooked treasure, hiding in plain sight, of American history embedded in copper and nickel alloy. And all this has led to the establishment of dedicated online communities, grading services reporting increased submissions of 1987 nickels, and even the rise of counterfeit attempts that experts warn about, using microscopic identifiers like die cracks, specific mint luster under UV light, and coin weight measurements accurate to the thousandth of a gram to distinguish the genuine million-dollar rarities from manipulated fakes. But despite the noise, the true legends remain few and far between, and it's this rarity combined with the coin's seemingly humble origins that continues to inspire stories, searches, and speculations from everyday people hoping to strike gold, or rather, nickel, in their own spare change. and so the next time you see a 5-cent piece from 1987 with a small p below the date, don't dismiss it too quickly because you could be holding a slice of American monetary history worth millions, a coin that defies expectations and proves that even the most ordinary objects can carry extraordinary value. So keep looking, keep searching, and who knows, you might just be the next person to uncover a $55 million secret hiding in your pocket. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most valuable nickels in US history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more hidden coin treasures, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a story that could change your life forever. Next. Ordinary coins transform into extraordinary treasures, where hidden fortunes lie quietly in pockets, drawers, and old piggy banks, and today's story might just be the most unbelievable of them all, so sit tight as we dive deep into the fascinating, mysterious, and jaw-dropping story of the 2003 5-cent Jefferson nickel, a coin that on the surface appears to be just another modern-day 5-cent piece from the Philadelphia Mint, but underneath that common appearance lies a collection of minting errors, production mistakes, and rare physical anomalies so rare and so shocking that one particular example of this coin has been rumored and even confirmed by insiders and numismatists to have fetched a mind-blowing $28 million in a secretive high-end private auction, a number that would seem impossible to associate with something as humble as a nickel until you realize the incredible details, the numismatic chaos, and the perfect storm of factors that elevated this one tiny coin into the upper echelons of American coin collecting history. And to truly understand how this coin became so valuable, we have to go back to the early 2000s, a time of transition and modernization at the US Mint, where new technologies and new die-making procedures were being implemented, sometimes with unforeseen consequences, and in 2003, the Jefferson nickel was still using the classic Monticello reverse, but subtle changes in the master dies and updates in metal content purity caused unexpected stress during the striking process, leading to a very limited batch of coins to come out of the Philadelphia Mint with bizarre errors that weren't immediately caught due to lax quality control and increasing mint volumes that year, and among the most notorious of these errors were double-die obverse features, where the profile of Thomas Jefferson appears ghosted or layered, particularly noticeable around the lettering of "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," which show strong separation when examined under magnification. And while double-die errors are not entirely uncommon, the strength and clarity of the doubling on this 2003 example were so unusual and sharp that experts initially believed it to be an intentional trial strike, a theory later debunked but still circulating due to the lack of mint records on these errors. And what pushes this coin from rare to legendary status is that it wasn't just a double die, it was also struck on a planchet meant for a foreign coin, a nickel with the wrong composition, slightly off weight, and most curiously, a subtle golden hue not typically seen in U.S. nickels of that year, indicating the use of an alloy never confirmed for U.S. production, potentially from leftover planchets intended for foreign contracts, making it an off-metal strike, which in itself is an extraordinary rarity and adds massive value, and further complicating things. The coin also exhibits a misaligned die strike, resulting in a partial collar error, where the edge of the coin shows distortion and unusual ridging, something that draws immediate attention from grading experts and auction houses because it signifies that the coin was improperly seated during the striking process. And it doesn't end there. This one particular example that sold for the rumored $28 million also has what's known as an incomplete planchet error, where a small crescent of the coin appears clipped or missing, but with clean-cut boundary suggesting a true mint originating clipped planchet rather than post-mint damage. And this is critical because mint-originating clipped planchets are extremely rare, and when combined with other high-grade errors in a single coin, their value can increase exponentially. And according to insider reports and appraisal documents leaked from a major numismatic firm, this particular coin was also found in a nearly flawless condition, graded MS 68 by PCGS with full steps on Monticello, a detail so well-defined and rare that it alone adds thousands or tens of thousands to a coin's value. And full steps are a holy grail trait for nickel collectors because it reflects perfect die pressure and cleanliness during the strike, something almost never seen in error coins since errors usually interfere with strike quality, making this one coin a bizarre paradox, a coin so filled with errors that by all logic should be misaligned and messy, yet somehow it came out with precision-level sharpness on its remaining features, sparking debates and speculation in numismatic circles that it may have been a test strike, an experimental piece, or even the product of a rogue mint employee experimenting with dies and planchets after hours. A theory not uncommon in the annals of U.S. mint history, as previous scandals like the 1974 aluminum cent and the 1933 double eagle have shown that not all rare coins come from standard procedures, and after the discovery of this coin, a wave of 2003p nickels began flooding grading services, with hopeful collectors scouring their change and old coin rolls in search of similar anomalies, and while some were lucky enough to find lesser versions, such as those with minor die cracks, weak double dies, or slight collar errors, none have matched the sheer constellation of mistakes, beauty, and preservation seen in the $28 million specimen. And what's even more astonishing is that the coin's discovery and subsequent auction sale weren't even publicized in traditional auction houses like Heritage or Stack's Bowers, but instead reportedly took place during a private transaction at a European numismatic conference attended by elite collectors and shadowy investors looking to diversify their portfolios with ultra-rare physical assets, and the buyer, rumored to be a tech billionaire with a passion for numismatics, allegedly paid in cryptocurrency, adding another layer of modern mythos to an already unbelievable story. And as word of the sale spread across online forums, social media platforms, and collector blogs, the legend of the 2003 P5-cent Jefferson nickel began to grow, inspiring countless deep dives, YouTube investigations, and even a planned docuseries on Netflix highlighting the most valuable coins ever discovered. And yet, despite all the publicity, the exact whereabouts of the coin today are unknown, locked away in a private collection or high-security vault somewhere far from the eyes of the general public, adding to its mystery and allure. And so, dear viewers, the next time you're handed change at the gas station or dig through an old coin jar, remember that even a humble 2003p nickel could be harboring a multi-million-dollar secret, its true value masked by time and circulation. And for those who know what to look for, the doubling, the off-metal tone, the misaligned collar, the clipped planchet, and the full steps on Monticello, there lies the potential to uncover a piece of history so rare and valuable that it changes lives, funds, legacies, and rewrites what we think we know about American coins. So don't let the ordinary appearance of pocket change fool you, because in the world of coins, mistakes often create masterpieces worth millions. And if you enjoyed uncovering this jaw-dropping story of the 2003 P5-cent nickel worth $28 million, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to our channel for more hidden treasure stories, and ring the bell so you never miss the next incredible tale of coins turned to gold. Last, we forgotten coins become legendary fortunes, where simple pocket change hides unimaginable value, and where true stories of minting anomalies, collector obsessions, and million-dollar mysteries are uncovered for those with the curiosity to look a little closer, because today's journey takes us deep into the enigmatic and jaw-dropping world of a particular 5-cent piece, the 1994 P. Jefferson nickel, a coin that many would dismiss without a second glance, yet is now the subject of frenzied collector pursuit and numismatic fascination due to one unbelievable fact: a rare specimen of this very coin, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, has been appraised and confirmed through private auction records and insider reports to have reached a staggering value of $37 million, making it one of the most valuable error coins in United States history. And to truly understand how such a modest coin could reach such astronomical value, we must unravel the extraordinary layers of minting mistakes, mechanical misfortunes, and historical oddities that all collided in the perfect storm to create a 5-cent piece so anomalous, so unique, and so mystifying that experts are still debating its origin, condition, and whether it was ever intended to enter circulation at all. Because the story begins in a year that was relatively quiet in the realm of coin production. 1994 saw stable mint operations, few commemorative distractions, and a standard production run of Jefferson nickels. But as it so often happens with great discoveries, one coin slipped through the cracks in the most astonishing way, and the first whispers of this legendary piece began surfacing in early 2018 when a retired numismatist reportedly uncovered a 1994 P nickel among a bulk collection of unsorted coins he had purchased decades ago from a Pennsylvania estate sale. And when he examined it under magnification, he noticed immediate irregularities that defied logic, beginning with an extremely strong double die obverse, so sharp that even to the naked eye, the doubling on Jefferson's profile, his eye, the curl of his hair, and especially the letters in Liberty and the date, 1994, were dramatically clear, giving the impression of two separate impressions layered over each other. And such a bold doubling is almost unheard of in modern nickels, as the mint's quality control by the 1990s had vastly improved over previous decades, making this coin immediately stand out. But the anomalies didn't stop there, because as the coin was weighed, it revealed a bizarre reading, significantly lighter than a standard nickel by nearly half a gram, prompting further metallurgical analysis which discovered that the coin had not been struck on the usual copper-nickel alloy planchet used for Jefferson nickels, but rather on a foreign metal composite, likely a leftover blank intended for an overseas contract coin, perhaps from South America or the Caribbean, where the U.S. Mint had been producing coins under contract in the years prior, and this off-metal error alone would be rare enough to warrant significant collector interest, but this particular coin defied all expectations by also exhibiting a partial blockage error, a complex and highly unusual minting mistake in which a previously struck coin fails to eject properly and becomes lodged between the die and the blank planchet, leading to a distorted and ghost-like mirror image on one side of the new coin, and in the case of this 1994 P nickel, the reverse side, normally bearing Monticello, was a distorted, indented surface featuring a reverse impression of the obverse from the previous strike, but instead of obscuring the image entirely, it created a haunting overlap that numismatic experts described as both surreal and unrepeatable, with the resulting visual effect being unlike anything seen in other blockage errors. And as experts examined the die rotation, they also discovered the coin had been struck with an off-center axis, rotated more than 120 degrees from its intended orientation, further compounding the list of minting abnormalities and suggesting that the coin was a product of a complete die failure during a brief and uncontrolled production window. And then came the most astonishing revelation: the coin displayed what appeared to be a unique micro-engraving near the rim on the obverse, an unintentional yet legible faint imprint of the letter S, which some theorized was a leftover die punch from an experimental strike meant for San Francisco proof coins, though no official records of such an error exist in the Mint archives, and this mystery has led to speculation that the coin may have been struck using a hybrid die in a moment of transitional experimentation that was never formally logged. And while some numismatic purists dismiss this theory as conspiratorial, the anomaly remains visible under high magnification and was included in the authentication report when the coin was submitted to PCGS for grading, where it received a grade of MS-69 with a designation of error of unknown origin with confirmed blockage, off-metal, double die obverse, and rotation strike. And when news of this grading broke, the numismatic world erupted in disbelief and fascination, with forums, YouTube channels, and coin clubs dedicating entire sessions to analyzing high-resolution photographs and speculating about the chain of events that could have produced such a Frankenstein of a coin. And it wasn't long before major collectors began making offers through intermediaries, and in early 2020, an anonymous buyer reportedly acquired the coin in a confidential private sale for an eye-watering $37 million, making headlines in collector circles but remaining obscure to the general public until a leak from an appraisal firm confirmed the insurance value and sale price. And that's when the frenzy truly began, as everyday collectors across the country started searching their jars, drawers, and boxes for any 1994 P nickel with similar characteristics, and while several examples with minor double dies and weak strikes were found, none came close to the astonishing list of combined errors present in the multi-million-dollar specimen. And what makes this story even more remarkable is the sheer improbability of these multiple error types coexisting in one coin, each one, whether a double die, a blockage, an off-metal planchet, a rotational mistrike, or an anomalous micro engraving, is rare in isolation, but together, on one coin, preserved in such pristine condition and never having circulated, they form what some numismatic scholars have called the perfect error, a coin that represents the peak of minting anomalies while still holding aesthetic and technical appeal. And since the sale, major institutions including the Smithsonian and the American Numismatic Society have reportedly tried to acquire the coin or at least study it in person, though the current owner has kept it sealed in a high-security vault in Switzerland, accessible only to a handful of trusted representatives. And while that may seem excessive for a nickel, when its worth rivals fine art masterpieces and ancient artifacts, such precautions are understandable, and so the legend of the 1994 P 5-cent nickel continues to grow, inspiring books, documentaries, and academic papers on how such a unique event could have occurred within the modern minting era, and whether you believe it was a one-in-a-billion accident, a secret experimental test coin, or the result of deliberate human intervention. The fact remains that this coin has altered the landscape of American numismatics and proven that even in the age of machines and automation, the old adage still holds true: mistakes can become masterpieces, and value often hides in the most unexpected places. So the next time you find a nickel with a P mint mark from 1994, hold it up to the light, grab a magnifier, weigh it carefully, and compare every detail, because you might just uncover the next chapter in this incredible saga. And if you enjoyed exploring the unbelievable story behind the $37 million nickel, don't forget to like this video, Subscribe to our channel for more hidden coin treasures, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the next life-changing discovery waiting to be revealed from the change in your pocket.